Another day, another inevitable failure from our favorite Blumpkin Pie baking studio Ubisoft. They said to themselves, our stock price isn't far enough down into the toilet, let's squirt out another failure onto the faces of our beloved customers. Champions Tactics, Grimoria Chronicles is Ubisoft's newest foray into the long-dead NFT space, because they couldn't take the hint the first time that nobody buys this shit, and nobody cares about NFTs. First of all, and this might just be a me problem, but I wasted like 10 minutes bumbling around the stupid Ubisoft Connect app looking for the game. I went to new releases, and it was at the bottom of the page. You would think since this game just launched they would feature it prominently on the storefront, but maybe Ubisoft is just as embarrassed that they made this as I am playing it. The game opens with an honestly pretty good looking opening cinematic. The pieces that the player are actually going to use have that cool looking low frame rate kind of animation made popular by those Spooderman movies. This opening makes a decent enough impression, but this is Ubisoft and they just can't help themselves. Gameplay consists of each player placing their game pieces on a board. Each player gets 3 guys, and you each roll for initiative to see in what order the pieces perform their actions. Each piece has a number of offensive and defensive stats which determine how much damage they deal with a particular skill, as well as how much damage they can mitigate from incoming enemy skills. There are also elemental aspects to certain skills, and countering an enemy's elemental type with the correct skill will result in more damage. This, on the surface, could be the basis for a fun game. The main problem here is, it's so fucking boring. I would rather have a deer tick crawl up my dick hole than play this for more than a few minutes. There's minimal animation, just the one background, generic music, and you're watching digital dice roll over and over as you lazily click on whatever stupid skill your champion has. Which brings me to this game's greatest sin, the NFT bullshit. Every single unit in this game is a randomly generated NFT, which you have to buy from other players on the marketplace. There's absolutely nothing unique about any of these characters. They are made completely at random, and apparently there are 75,000 of these little abortions minted, which is a term that makes my asshole want to sneeze.
Get off the game, go to the bathroom, and take a shit. Now.
Hey.
Bathroom and shit now!
Having a quick gander at the marketplace will introduce you to the chaos born from this awful cum rag. Every single one of these might as well be the same. My eyes glaze over as I scroll down the list, each champion reminding me of those creepy dolls that one serial killer stuffed his victims' bodies into. That nightmare immediately came to mind at first glance at these things. That's a bad sign for both me and Ubisoft. Why in the name of the baby Jesus is this thing nearly $400 million? I could buy the baddest of bad dragons for that kind of money. If Ubisoft could take their head out of their own guts for just 1 second and have a look around, they would never have wasted the time and money on making this forgettable slop. I hate to say it, but this could have actually been something. Instead of munting 75,000 of these little butt plugs, reduce the number to maybe 100 handcrafted and well thought out characters, each with a unique name and skill set. The game would be way easier to balance, and people could actually recognize individual characters instead of glazing over tens of thousands of generic looking statues. I'm not a fan of gacha games, but this seems like a no-brainer for a gacha system. It wouldn't come close to any of those waifu simulators, but it would beat the crap out of this non-game. Champions Tactics is just about as generic can get. The name itself is reminiscent of 1,000 different mobile games out there, all of which are just generic knockoffs of a handful of popular games. Yet again, Ubisoft couldn't see the slam dunk right in front of their French baguette faces. This is just another in a long line of poorly thought out failures from everybody's favorite punching bag. This all seems so obvious to me. I can't fathom how Ubisoft thought an NFT game would go well for them. They could have easily turned this into a Pokemon ripoff gacha game, pissed a few people off that way, and made a little bit of money. As it stands now, Champions Tactics will limp along for maybe a year or two before getting shut down, and the only people that will even be aware of anything happening with this game are the 5 to 10 people who genuinely thought this game was going somewhere and they dropped a bunch of cash on the NFTs. If you thought Ubisoft of all corporate overlords could pull something like this off, you deserve to lose your money. Like and subscribe. Now.